everyone, and thank you for joining us here in the newsroom. I'm Hwang Ji-hye. Quite a number of significant events took place throughout this week here at Arirang TV. For one, we have rolled out a brand new talk show program called After 10, where our very own Scott Thompson will hold in-depth discussions with newsmakers of the day. And earlier this week, CEO and president of Arirang TV, Hwang Ji-hye, held an exclusive interview with UN Secretary General Ban Ki-moon, where he spoke about a wide range of issues, including inter-Korean relations, the worsening situation in Syria, and Korea's rising status in the world. Well, what else has been unfolding here at Arirang TV? Well, I talked with some of our reporters earlier in the day, and this is what they said. Let's go and meet them. Hello, everyone. Hi, guys. Good to have you back. Right, I mean, it feels like winter already with the temperatures dropping down to single digits. And I hear that some places in Korea, we already received some snow.
I know, and ice froze.
Yeah. Isn't it just like weeks ago that you went down to Mount Chiri to cover the fall foliage?
I know, I went there to actually shoot the foliage, and I'm pretty sure the leaves have all fallen down now.
Yeah, already. And you went straight down to South Jeolla Province in Kohung for Naro Space Center. It was an historic moment for Korea, wasn't it?
If only the Naro had been blasted off as scheduled on actually the last Friday, that is, and then it came to a halt from a problem that was detected during their final preparation on D-Day.
Now that it's practically impossible to launch the Naro by Wednesday, the final backup date on schedule, scientists are working to set new dates for the next launch attempt. The Korea Aerospace Research Institute convened Launch Management Committee from 11 a.m. Monday morning to assess the situation, following inspections of the rocket at the assembly complex over the weekend. Naro's scheduled launch on Friday afternoon was postponed indefinitely after a broken rubber seal was discovered 5 hours before liftoff.
I mean, it must have been quite a disappointment for a lot of the reporters there, as well as locals who were there to support that launch. So what happened?
Well, it just came from a very small O-ring or rubber ring that was connecting the rocket body to the launch pad, and that's known as a coupling device, or CD2 in their technical terms. And, and from this briefing paper I got, in the moment they announced they're going to stop the launch, it was this like really tiny, maybe 3-centimeter long rubber piece that was sticking out of the launch pad, and this was one of maybe 200,000 parts that make up the rocket body of Naro, known as Korea Space Launch Vehicle #1, and it was their third attempt after they failed to launch and place the satellite into orbit in 2009 and in 2010 when we saw the rocket explode just 2 minutes after blastoff.
But I heard that this part was not actually made in Korea or made by the Korean technology, so that's I guess that's triggering more controversy.
Exactly. There's the rocket's actually made of 2 parts. The first stage by the Russian agency, and the second part and the launch pad created by the Korea Space Research Institute. And the first stage was obviously created by the Russian agency. So the Russian scientists are now dispatched back to Russia to analyze the problem and what happened and what went wrong with the rubber piece that was connecting the stage and the launch pad.
We did a live connection several times.
Yeah, she was live all day, morning and night.
Will it be good enough for a rocket launch?
Well, Connie, it's been sunny and clear since I got here, and for tomorrow's weather forecast, it's going to be clear. All is good to go. Now the trial run involved extensive testing of the rocket.
고생하셨습니다. 수고하셨습니다.
We were going through like a normal, like a regular briefing at like 11 in the morning, and then this an official from the Science Ministry came down running. Sorry, it's a halt. We're not going. And then they were like all crazy. And then they had like another briefing at 3 p.m. So like every hour I had to like go on air with the new releases and all the resources they give, like photos. But it was actually not really enough because like people are not aware of which part it was and why, and the scientists there had no idea too. Like until that point. So I think it was really chaotic, like involving like all the journalists there.
So were they all disappointed when the launch was delayed?
I would say some were actually relieved that they found problems before the blast off, because we want to see this happen this time around. And like the Science Ministry as well as the Russian agency who contributed this techniques are actually aiming for a successful launch rather than we have to launch it within this date. So like the next round of launch window is actually for 2 weeks from November 9th to 24th. And like if they go on like smoothly with all the procedures and rehearsals as well as strengthen and reinforce inspection of the rocket body and all the 200 parts of the rocket, I'm pretty sure it's going to be good to go.
Right. It must have been quite a letdown for many, but thank God, like you said, that we found the technical glitch before the actual takeoff, and hopefully the next launch will be a successful one, right? Although Naro failed to deliver some welcome news, I mean, we had news from Songdo, which quite cheered us up.
Right.
We did tackle it last week,
yes,
briefly.
last week when Songdo actually was selected as the host city for the Secretariat of the Green Climate Fund. This week, I did a news in-depth about the whole green climate, what it's about, and also what kind of economic benefits there are through this project or through the Secretariat. So.
About a week ago, the Green Climate Fund, an arm of the United Nations with the purpose of combating climate change, decided to plant its headquarters right here in Korea.
The fund's arrival is widely expected to bring business and foreign investment to Songdo, an international business hub near Incheon. Hwang Ji-hye gives us the details of the deal tonight live in the studio. Hello, Ji-hye.
Hello, guys.
So first of all, what is the Green Climate Fund?
So it's a United Nations body set up to be the world's single largest fund for fighting climate change. The fund was launched at a UN climate conference in Durban, South Africa last year and aims to channel $100 billion in aid per year to developing countries by 2020. The aid, which is pledged by developed nations, will be used to finance projects such as reducing greenhouse gases and helping countries adapt to the effects of global warming, such as rising sea levels, for example. Korea was in competition with 5 other countries, Germany, Switzerland, Mexico, Namibia, and Poland, to host the fund's headquarters and won the bid after 5 rounds of voting.
GCF is considered a World Bank.
Yes,
it's a huge fund, isn't it?
Yes, the scale of GCF, the Green Climate Fund, is considered as huge as the World Bank, as Ji-hye just said. Park Jae-won, the finance minister, he said during the press briefing when it was selected as the host city, he said it's like a global company coming into Songdo. So the scale's huge. I mean, yeah, and so
it's a lot of new jobs also.
Of course. I mean, economic analysts say that around up to 8,000 employees will come to Songdo to run their business there. And
yeah, I mean, even UN Secretary General Ban Ki-moon, who was visiting Seoul, he even mentioned that in his first address at the National Assembly, didn't he?
Right, exactly.
So this is a big deal.
Yeah. I mean, like that was actually one of the reasons why Songdo was chosen as a host city for the Secretariat of the Green Climate Fund, because people thought Korea could take the role as a bridge between developed and developing countries, since it has the experience of being a developing country. So that was one of the main reasons why Korea's Songdo was chosen as the host city for the Secretariat.
I mean, I went to Songdo, I think a couple of years back. It was quite empty and it was very quiet. I saw some spectacular buildings and everything, but tell us more about that.
I mean, it is a very quiet city. I mean, till now, people are very hyped up. I mean, the residents there are very hyped up, but still, it's a very quiet city. Not a lot of residents or businessmen are there, but this could actually be an opportunity for Songdo to attract more foreign direct investment to the city. And they also built a huge 33-story building. It's called I Tower. And
Is that the headquarters?
Yeah, that's where the headquarters are going to be located, and so
There's also the global campus where different universities
I
are
heard
there.
that you were there, right?
Yeah.
When the New York
About
University.
a year ago, right?
Yeah,
Stony
yeah.
Brook.
Yeah, and many other universities are going to come into the global campus, so that's also one of the attraction of Songdo. So I mean, yeah.
Yeah, a couple of years from now, you never know, it might be the next like booming city.
Exactly, and
Yeah.
also there's a Chadwick International School. It's a school for those from like kindergartens to the
12th grade?
Yeah, 12th grade. So after that, the children of expats can go to the the global campus and receive education. So the facilities and all the infrastructure is very well built in that city. So I mean.
한국 뉴욕 주립대? 그게 있죠. 직접 보내주시면 제가 뭐 토스해주거나 뭐 제가 와도 되고. 아니 진짜 잘 돼 있네요 학교가. 이거 인공잠기도 다 깔아놓고. 엄청.
아이들이 미끄러져도 다치거나 하지
어머
않고.
진짜 너무 잘 돼 있다. 아니 진짜 잘해놨다.
So are we seeing some positive signs of development already?
Yeah.
Already?
Not, some with the real estate market, because I talked with a construction company, POSCO, and they have built many apartments there in the district, and they said that during the weekend when Songdo was selected as the host city, like the amount of real estate transactions reached to the same level as the company could reach in a month.
아 스탠드업하고 여기서 시내가 다 보여요. 그래서 헬리콥터 착륙장이에요. 그래서 이렇게 그렇게 분양 문의 전화가 쇄도하신다는 GCF. 네. 그 많이 됐어요? 그 기사는 되게 많이 됐어요.
제일 잘 됐던 거는 GCF 발표 이후
네.
그 다음 날 그때가 토요일이었잖아요.
네, 네.
토 2일 동안에 많은 양이 됐어요. 거의 한 달 정도의 분양이 되었 것들이 이틀에 다 됐습니다.
다 됐어요?
근데 그 뒤로는 이제 꾸준하게
계속 이제 조금씩.
I mean, yeah, expectations are very high. Officials are very excited. President Lee Myung-bak is congratulating on the success. So, I mean,
How far is Songdo?
like an hour drive away from Seoul.
I mean, you must know better. President Lee has been stressing green growth as a growth momentum all his presidency.
Yeah, it's not only a good news for Songdo, which was in danger of becoming just another Korean city, but with this particular event slated to happen very soon.
As Ji-sun said, Korea in whole is like stepping closer to becoming a city, a symbolic country
For green growth.
Yeah, exactly.
Yes, and this could encourage Korea to have more of a say when it comes to discussions about climate
Yeah,
change.
I mean,
and green
and like
growth.
I heard that 100 more international meetings will take place in Songdo because of the secretariat. So
It's going to keep you very, very busy.
I guess.
Right, so it's, what time is it? It's almost 2, which means I think most of us had lunch already. I think it would be less torturous for us to talk about food at this hour. So let's go over to Connie. Let's talk about this festival you went to.
Well, I met these top chefs from all over the world, and these are not just really any other chefs. They're top Michelin 3-star chefs. And it was really exciting to meet these people. And this organization called Seoul Gourmet they actually invited these chefs over to Korea to kind of introduce them to Korean ingredients and Korean cuisine. And so I was able to follow them on their little like food tour of Korea.
It's about taking Korean cuisine to the world. 8 top chefs have been invited to Seoul to experiment with traditional Korean ingredients, including fermented condiments, such as this 50-year-old soy sauce. Alex Atala, a leading chef in Brazil, says fermented foods, although strong in flavor, are suitable for the Western palate. The top chefs also gathered here at the Norangjin Fish Market during the busy morning hours to explore some of the freshest seafood Korea has to offer. With the inspiration they gained from their visit, the chefs will offer cooking demonstrations and dinners all around Seoul this week to showcase some of the dishes they've made with a bit of Korean flavor added.
So it was really exciting to see these people get introduced to, the fermentation process of different Korean foods, like a lot of the soy sauce that's used in Korean banchan, which is our side dishes. They're aged soy sauce. I couldn't really tell. I'm not a very, I'm not a food critic, but it was a bit stronger than I guess just any other soy sauce. And so
commercialized ones, like
commercialized ones, use the ones at just any sushi restaurant. So I met Thomas Buhner from Germany, who's the first German to win a Michelin 3-star award. Wow. And I met Pedro Subiana. He's from Spain, and I was actually able to speak in Spanish with him and interview him. And so I love being able to communicate using my third language. And so he was actually very impressed with our fish market in Korea, one of the largest fish markets. It's called Norangjin Fish Market. Yeah, and so
where is it located
at? It's like 20 minutes from here, Gangnam. Yeah. So yeah, so it's not that far, and we were there at like 4:30 a.m.
4:30 a.m. Why that early?
Because that's the busiest time, the fish market, and it was crazy.
정물에 있는데, 네, 알겠습니다. 네. 완전 바빠요, 여기.
Arirang TV.
Arirang. Una televisión que se llama Arirang.
First time at a fish market. ¿Qué sus opiniones de este mercado?
Es bonito ver, es bueno ver también la técnica de utilización de todo.
젊어 보이는데?
So it was very exciting. So I think it's a very good idea for Korea to invite these world-renowned chefs so that they can take back with them a bit of Korean cuisine and maybe a bit of Korean ingredients.
Yeah, and they can use it in their own dishes, you know, when they do all the cooking in their
right. And so a lot of them, they're here for the entire week. And so they're also holding cooking classes and hosting special dinners at hotels in Seoul. And
were you invited?
Well, they wanted me to come, but you know, it's a bit expensive. It's about like 200, 300, and one of the chefs' dinner is actually 600 US dollars, around 600,000 won for a 6-course dinner menu.
Intriguing, but
But hey, Michelin 3 stars, right?
Yeah, and it was also amazing like how the foreign chef responded after tasting the Korean food, like the fermented condiments and the sauces. Like,
Right.
so, like in your interviews, it was really impressive.
They actually loved it.
I know.
The fermentation process and the fermentation technique is what makes a lot of Korean food Korean.
Yeah.
You know, uniquely Korean, like kimchi and different radish, doenjang, yeah.
All the sauces
Yeah.
are almost all fermented.
And very healthy too.
Yeah.
very healthy indeed. Right, so it must have served as a great opportunity for, to spread Korean food. It's like Hallyu, isn't it? A Korean wave.
Right, it is.
Korean food Hallyu.
Right, it's another, possible cultural export. Got music and then Korean food.
This is the 4th time it has happened,
Yes.
so it's going to continue for a while.
Right, hopefully.
Yeah, hopefully. Okay. Well, thank you guys very much for your contribution, for waking up very early in the morning to cover the story, traveling nooks and corners of Korea to cover very informative and insightful stories for us. Thank you very much. And yeah, have a great weekend. I'll see you guys back here next week.
Right, see you.
Yeah. Hopefully. All right. But this week, the first global music conference and showcase sponsored by the Korean government called the MUCON Seoul 2012 took place here in Seoul, inviting some 100 music-related companies and 300 specialists and artists from around the world. Our cultural correspondent Park Ji-won takes us to the scene.
Hello, I'm Ji-won Park. The Newsroom viewers, I'm here at MUCON, Korea's very first international market solely dedicated to pop music. And look at this, what I just got. And here now with us, Thailand's very legendary hip-hop group, Titanium is here with us. So could you hello say to our viewers?
Hi, how you doing? Hi guys, Titanium, I'm Wade, this is Day, Titanium, Bangkok City. It's a real honor for us to be here, first time in Seoul, first time in Korea. Yes.
So I guess our viewers in Thailand are so excited to see them. And actually I was very honored and excited to see them as well. And as a reporter, it's not very common for me to meet these pop stars like them. And also we can see Korea's main broadcaster, KBS, is also doing a report on this event. And the reporters are trying to talk with sources. And actually I was writing my article as well. But for your viewers, I'm trying to give some live report from here at MUCON. As you can see, there are many Korean entertainment companies, JYP, YGSM, and all these companies are here to give participants a live network of music industry. And Korean pop has been very popular these days because of all these entertainment companies, energy and passions by the artists. So for this event, nearly 100 companies from over 20 countries are participating right now, and I'll be writing my article in about 2 to 3 hours. It will be aired from tonight, and I should go back to work. So have fun, you guys. 뭐 이름이 뭐죠? 대비요?
Sashimi.
Sashimi? It's like they can fill with rice.